Hi guys, General Splatting here. Today I want to show you how to paint a lava base. I've already painted one up here, as you see. This would have been the tutorial yesterday, but my computer ran out of hard disk space and cut it off in the middle of it, so I had to transfer something over to a portable hard drive. So now hopefully we won't have the problems. We're going to go from here. Alright, the black is from the Andrea black set. They're darkest black, and then I use it to highlight colors to highlight it up, and as you see looks a little bit more gray than the black base itself, but not very much. So that's going to be the lava rock, and then we'll paint the interior as well. So what I'm going to be using, move this out of the way, is the colors. These are from the HD series by Reaper, the Reaper Master Series HD paints. Thought I'd give them a whirl so that you could easily see how they work. Now there's no dark brown and there's no white in the HD series, so I'm using Vallejo colors. This is charred brown, and this is just dead white. But the colors for the HD series that I'll be using is, this is rusty red, this is brilliant red, this is fireball orange, and golden yellow. And then this here is Liquitex slow dry blending medium. So let's see what we can get accomplished here. Now first I'm going to take some of the rusty red and do a dry brush down deep, or up high, excuse me, to establish that. And I'm sorry, this is not a dry brush, this is a wet brush because I'm not taking off much paint. Just trying to get it started. I don't know how long this is gonna be, so I think we'll skip on to the next section. So anyway, you want to get this up high, maybe just a little curl over the top, and then we'll get on to the next part of it. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. The next color I'm going to be using is, I'm picking up the fireball orange, and I'm going to come down a little lower into the rock, like it's glowing just a little bit more, not going across the top at all, just down into the lower parts of the rock. As you see there, hopefully. Just trying to add some other color to the glow effect. Alright, be back in a second. Okay, the next color I'm going to be using is the golden yellow down at the very bottom. Want to look like the, that's the hottest part in the glow. So just to give it that sense of heat, hopefully. Kind of let them intermingle where they need to. I'm not worried about the lava itself because that's going to be painted later. So let's get it a little bit more pronounced with the yellow. There we go. Now, yep, something like that. That'll work. Let me doctor on this a little bit. Be back in a moment. Okay, I got it pretty much evened out like I want it. I might touch it up a little later, but it looks pretty good for the glow effects. Now what I'm going to do, taking the rusty red, and I'm coming back in here in the back and painting it on this way. What I'm going to do is these humps are going to be like bubbles bubbling up, and that's going to be the real hot spots. So want them to be where the true amount of heat is. So this outer area would be starting to cool more. Alrighty. As you see, I don't like to work with a lot of paint on my brush. It's just a foible I deal with. Alright, I'm going to pick this up a little later once I got this coated up the way I want to. See you in a minute. Okay, I decided to do something a little different than I did on the last one. Try to just do it at one go. Now the next one, I want to get a little closer, and this is going to be some I'm putting in the brilliant red now. Back more toward the top. I don't care if it's mottled, I kind of mottled. I like that motley look. By the time all the everything is done, it's gonna be just like I want it. Alright, we're gonna have to let that dry. Back in a minute. Okay guys, I'm going to take a little of the orange now and start coming in here and working this in. Around the edges. Doesn't have to be too precise. Just something to let me know it's starting to get a little hotter. Just work it in. Now I'm probably going to clean all this up off camera because I don't want this to be like 3 hours long. No, it won't take me that long to do it. By the way, I forgot to mention this is an armor cast base. So really nice resin piece. Really like these. It was basically about $1 a piece. You know, it was like $5 or $6. So I got these from Armor Cast. I don't know if they're on eBay, other people selling them or what. I might have got a better deal. Alright, something like that. See you in a minute. Okay guys, now we're going to start adding in a little of the yellow. I don't care if it's mixing with the orange. What I'm trying to do is just establish it. Like I said, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of this off camera. So, to get it back right, I'm just showing you the basic steps. Something like that, how it's coming in. And the other side over here. Just doing it roughly. This is like the first stage of the blending process. Get my thing warm and I'll show you how I touch these up with this. Kind of slightly damp. And what I'm doing is just adding these together basically. And I'll have to do this several times really to get it like I want it, to be honest. I'll have to go back to the orange and go back to the yellow and things, and like right there, get things reestablished and taken back over and then coming back in. But I'm just really just kind of tapping and pecking at it. I mean, I don't have to be too precise, I don't think. So, but that's really all I'm doing, is just letting things take their course, lifting it off, really lifting off the paint and then dropping it right back down for the actual technical part of it. Oh, need me a little more orange in here. Yep, take care of it. Maybe a little red with it too. Just letting the colors intermingle. I mean, it's lava, but see how it's starting to heat up, as it were. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead and get it a little more evened out like I want to, because I got another trick that I think you'll really find helpful, or at least I find makes it look more realistic. Let's jump ahead some. Okay, I've laid in the white on top. I've done a little more blending and smoothing out, getting things still not near where I want them, but I want to kind of skip ahead a little. I'm just going to take some yellow, maybe a touch of white, come back in here and start really heating these edges up, just tapping it in. Moving back out where it radiates out. And I'll do this several times to get that white brought back in and the yellow brought back in. Until I get it like I wanted. Kind of veining coming out. So just to get them all kind of cohesive, doing some semblance of the dance I want them to do. If something's not quite right, then I'll come back in with another color to make it right, or even it back out and come back again. Alright, so we're getting in there. Hold on. Okay guys, I'm almost through. I went on ahead, and all I'm going to do for the blending and put the white in to define it a little bit more. So that's about all I want to do for that. Now what I'm going to do, what I think really gives it a realistic look, so I'm going to take the charred brown and I'm going to start tapping it in the furthest away from the real hot spots, and this simulates the lava cooling and crusting on top, and that's exactly what I want. You don't have to be too precise, but you want it to look like that's what's happening, that it's cooling and forming up. And that's what lava does. It cools and it kind of bursts through where it's cooled. There's a name for that, but I forget. I know that's what pillow lava is, where it just looks like one pillow on top of another. But also, now that I've got the edges, let's darken them up a little bit more. If you put too much on, I'm going to show you a neat trick. Let's get up in here a little bit more. Maybe right out through here. Is go ahead and take and tap down into it. Not very hard, just you want to put little floating patches. This is really my mixing brush that I use to transfer paint. Some right in there. But I think it gives it just that one little edge to realism. And just very lightly, don't flick it. You want to dab it straight down and then pull back up. Because you don't want to leave a streak. And you're going to do that anyway. Unless you got a super steady hand, which I don't. I mean, I've got a pretty steady hand, but still, maybe just a few, just like little crust floating in the sea of lava. And I think that gives it the realism. Now, and if you need to touch up anything, all you got to do is go back with another color, the you know, the red or the orange or yellow or whatever, even for that matter, and put those in. Now, let's say you've got a little bit, let's find me a spot, yeah, a little too much that you put in, and you know, it's just one big blob of brown. Well, here's what you do. Coming back in with the, let me get it on my brush good. Coming back in with the brilliant red, and you just paint in a vein. You just kind of, you don't actually paint, you just kind of dabble one in like you want it to go. Like there's some little veinings right there. Like there's one coming down here. I can't believe I'm doing this without magnification, but I am, yay. But see how that breaks up the brown and puts it into bigger chunks. Get some more red here. But you don't need a lot on your brush for this. You're just using the very tip too. But see, breaks out little sections. It looks like they're floating. And you could even use the orange for this too, you know, like a real, you know, I could put in a little hot spot in a certain place. But just separate them back out with that brilliant red or whatever color you choose to use. But it'll certainly give that effect that you're looking for. See, just separate them out. Just using the tip. Now, this is not a great tip. I use this as a brush to lay down my undercoats with, you know, the base coats. Well, that's about it for this little puppy. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've enjoyed it and stuck around for the whole time. Armor cast bases, resin bases are nice. So that's it. I think that makes it look pretty realistic once you get finished with the charred brown. So if you have any questions, let me know. This is General Splatting, and I'll talk again. Dismissed.